good ground coffee. That's Maxwell House coffee.
You know that Campbell's chicken noodle soup has more protein per...
Launching a clear cola in 1992 was too much of a sensory disruption.
The 1990s sparked a wave of bold culinary experiments, introducing foods that promised to revolutionize our plates. Yet, many of these daring creations missed the mark spectacularly. From quirky snacks to unconventional flavor mashups, these 25 innovative foods from the 90s failed miserably, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable flops. So, join us today to explore 25 innovative foods from the 1990s that failed miserably. In the 1990s, Campbell's tried to revolutionize lunchtime convenience with super combos, a dual-compartment microwavable meal featuring soup paired with either a sandwich or a side. The concept sounded brilliant: a hot, hearty soup and a warm snack in one quick package. However, execution proved problematic. The soup was often heated unevenly, and the sandwich or bread product became rubbery or soggy.
Broth is especially welcome on days when you're just plain hungry for a really sturdy, satisfying soup,
never living up to its fresh counterpart. Consumers also found the portions underwhelming and the price steep compared to making lunch from scratch. While microwave meals were booming, super combos simply couldn't compete in taste or texture. After lukewarm reviews and poor sales, the product was discontinued, showing that convenience doesn't always equal satisfaction. Not all coffee innovations perk up consumers. Maxwell House pre-brewed coffee, launched in 1990, was an attempt to eliminate brewing altogether by offering pre-made liquid coffee in resealable containers. Targeted at time-starved coffee drinkers, it promised instant caffeine without the wait. But the result was underwhelming: a bland, flat-tasting liquid that lacked the freshness and aroma people crave in a morning cup. Many found it tasted stale or metallic due to the packaging.
or a cup of this good-smelling coffee. It will taste as good as it smells because it's good ground Maxwell House.
Furthermore, storing liquid coffee required refrigeration, a turnoff for users accustomed to shelf-stable instant or fresh brews. With dismal sales and ridicule from coffee purists, Maxwell House pulled the product from the shelves quickly. It served as a cautionary tale in solving problems consumers weren't asking to fix. Chewing gum got a fiery makeover in 1991 with the debut of Sin A Burst, a cinnamon-flavored gum packed with tiny flavor crystals that exploded with spicy sweetness. Backed by Wrigley, it initially made a splash with bold taste and an innovative texture. However, the intensity that attracted consumers also pushed them away.
These dots indicate an explosive personality.
Brace yourself for the explosive power of flavor crystals.
Many found it overpowering, and the flavor faded faster than competitors like Big Red. Worse, the gum's tiny crystals occasionally irritated sensitive mouths or dental work. Despite strong early marketing and buzz, Sin A Burst couldn't maintain its momentum and gradually disappeared from shelves by the late 90s. In the end, novelty wasn't enough to secure lasting success in the ever-fickle gum market. Sin A Burst gum offered a cinnamon blast with every bite. Yet, was it enough to hide the empty center of the next breakfast disaster? In an era obsessed with surprises, Hidden Treasures cereal from General Mills arrived in 1993 with a gimmick: puffed cereal squares that might, or might not, contain a fruity filling. Marketed as a breakfast mystery for kids, the appeal was meant to lie in discovering which pieces had gooey centers and which didn't. But that randomness quickly turned into frustration.
Wow, new Hidden Treasure cereal is amazing! Some pieces have fruit flavor inside, some don't.
Nobody knows which ones.
I'll figure it out.
Many found the texture off-putting, especially when combined with milk, and the fillings, when present, were overly sweet and artificial. It also didn't help that the cereal was nutritionally questionable and lacked staying power against classics like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. After a brief flash of excitement, Hidden Treasures faded into obscurity, becoming a curious footnote in cereal history rather than a breakfast staple. The iconic fashion magazine Cosmopolitan attempted to branch out into the food world in 1999 by launching its own line of yogurt. Aimed at health-conscious, trendy young women, Cosmopolitan yogurt came in sleek packaging with promises of elegance and indulgence. But branding couldn't mask the mediocrity of the product itself.
I want to do a transition like that. What is this?
It lacked unique flavors or textures to stand out in a market already saturated by Dannon, Yoplait, and niche organic brands. Consumers were confused. Was this yogurt truly connected to the magazine? Did it offer anything special? In truth, it didn't. Without strong product differentiation or a loyal consumer base, Cosmopolitan yogurt flopped quickly, proving that brand extension needs more than just a famous name to succeed in grocery aisles. Crystal Pepsi, launched in 1992, was PepsiCo's bold attempt to revolutionize the soft drink market with a clear cola. Marketed as pure, healthy, and caffeine-free, it rode the early 90s wave of transparency and wellness trends. Visually striking and intriguingly different, it sparked intense curiosity. However, the drink's downfall came quickly. The flavor, while technically cola, lacked the richness and bite consumers expected from a traditional Pepsi. Its disconnect between appearance and taste created confusion rather than excitement.
Gentlemen, I give you Crystal Pepsi. All the great taste of regular Pepsi, but without that troublesome opacity. What if you're drinking a regular Pepsi and somebody's coming at you with a knife, huh?
Despite a massive marketing push, including a Super Bowl ad and music tie-ins, sales plummeted within a year. Crystal Pepsi became a textbook case of overhyped innovation that didn't resonate with palates, cementing its legacy as one of the 1990s most infamous product flops. Long before reality TV and presidential politics, Donald Trump entered the gourmet food scene in 1997 with the launch of Trump Steaks. Marketed as the world's greatest steaks, they were sold through the sharper image and QVC, not exactly your traditional butcher or grocery outlet. The high-end branding promised luxury, but the actual product didn't live up to its inflated price tag. Reviews were mixed, with some buyers questioning the quality, tenderness, and even freshness of the cuts. Moreover, the idea of buying premium raw meat from a gadget store confused many consumers. Sales were abysmal, and the line was discontinued within months. Trump Steaks became a prime example of poor market fit, where celebrity branding couldn't overcome a lack of culinary credibility or practicality. At the turn of the millennium, Starbucks and PepsiCo teamed up for what they hoped would be the next beverage revolution: Mazagran, a carbonated coffee soda. Inspired by a North African drink and named after an Algerian town, this bottled concoction blended cold coffee with fizz and citrus-like flavorings. Unfortunately, neither coffee lovers nor soda fans could wrap their taste buds around the odd fusion. Released in limited markets in 1994, Mazagran was met with confusion and poor sales. Consumers found the flavor medicinal, the concept unclear, and the marketing inconsistent. Though it failed miserably, Mazagran did plant the seed for Starbucks' later success with bottled frappuccinos, making it more a failed experiment than a total waste. Attempting to caffeinate mornings in a new way, PepsiCo launched Pepsi AM in 1990, essentially a version of regular Pepsi with added caffeine. It was created for consumers who skipped coffee but still craved a morning boost. Despite aggressive test marketing, the idea backfired. Many soda drinkers balked at being told to swap their orange juice for cola, while coffee loyalists had no desire to down a fizzy soft drink before 9 a.m. Pepsi AM was discontinued within a year. Its failure was due not to taste, but to lifestyle mismatch.
And fizzy drinks were replacing coffee as the morning drink of choice for a considerable amount of Americans. The number of soft drinks at breakfast time.
Americans weren't ready to replace their morning rituals with soda, even if it had an extra jolt. The product vanished quickly, remembered only by the most die-hard of cola historians. When candy meets carbonation, the results can be either iconic or catastrophic. In 1995, Lifesaver Soda tried to turn the iconic ring-shaped candy into a liquid refreshment. It came in bright, fruit-flavored varieties that mirrored the classic candy flavors, with eye-catching labels and heavy promotion aimed at teens. However, The reality of drinking a melted lifesaver proved unappealing. Critics panned it for being cloyingly sweet and lacking any refreshing qualities.
Many who had tried the soda complained that it had tasted horrible. It went into stores, and the problem was it didn't explode.
Consumers didn't want their soda to taste like pure sugar syrup. Sales fizzled fast, and production halted within a year. It joined a long list of novelty drinks that underestimated the difference between snack and sip. Today, it's a cautionary tale of branding gone too far. In 1996, McDonald's tried to court adults with a grown-up burger, the Arch Deluxe. With a $150 million marketing budget, it was one of the company's most ambitious launches ever. Featuring a potato bun, peppered bacon, Dijon mustard sauce, and lettuce and tomato toppings, it was designed to be a sophisticated alternative to the Happy Meal. However, the campaign alienated both adults and kids. Adults weren't drawn to fast food for elegance.
Lettuce. Then a piece of cheese, a patty, middle bun, some more sauce, some more lettuce, another piece of cheese,
and kids felt excluded by the not for you tone. Operationally, it slowed down kitchen efficiency and increased costs. The Arch Deluxe was pulled within a few years and is often remembered as one of the most expensive fast food flops in history, a misstep in trying to be what McDonald's never was. Sometimes a product fails because it answers a question no one asked. Such was the case with Gerber Singles, released in 1994. Targeted at busy young adults, these were single-serving jars of mushy food like creamed beef or carrots, essentially baby food for grown-ups. Gerber assumed college students and bachelors would embrace the convenience, but the packaging, texture, and concept evoked childhood regression rather than adult independence. Marketed as ready-to-eat meals, the idea flopped spectacularly. Adults were repulsed by the notion of eating pureed meat from a jar, especially with the same branding used for infants. Sales were abysmal, and the line was quickly pulled. Gerber Singles became a textbook example of tone-deaf marketing.
Entrees and desserts. The idea didn't catch on very well, though. Apparently, young people didn't enjoy it.
And mismatched target demographics. Gerber Singles left consumers confused and grossed out. So how did potato chips laced with fat substitutes compare? In 1998, Frito-Lay launched a snack revolution that quickly turned into a gastrointestinal nightmare. WOW chips used Olestra, a fat substitute designed to deliver the taste of fried chips without the guilt. Promising zero fat and fewer calories, WOW chips hit shelves with a bang. Consumers loved the idea. But within months, complaints about severe digestive issues emerged, including cramps, diarrhea, and the infamous warning, may cause anal leakage. The FDA required this label on packaging, which sealed its fate. Sales plummeted amid the public backlash, and though rebranded later as light chips,
everything from mesquite barbecue to nacho cheesier, and they look just like any other chip. Of course, the bag promises
the damage was irreversible. Despite scientific innovation, WOW chips demonstrated that a healthy snack isn't a win if it causes discomfort and public ridicule. If you were a kid in the early 90s, chances are you remember the bold flavor of Keebler pizzerias. Introduced in 1992, these crunchy chips were made from real pizza dough and seasoned to replicate the taste of a fresh slice, offering flavors like cheese pizza, zesty pepperoni, and supreme. The snack was initially a hit, even earning a cult following. However, the production process was costly, and Keebler struggled with marketing it as either a chip or a baked snack. Over time, interest waned, especially as newer snacks and health-conscious trends emerged. By the mid-1990s, pizzerias quietly disappeared. Fans still pine for their return.
Their first ever savory spread, the 90s pizza chip, Keebler pizzerias.
But poor longevity and awkward positioning doomed this otherwise tasty innovation. When Nestlé released Butterfinger BBs in 1992, they seemed like a slam dunk. Mini, poppable versions of the beloved Butterfinger bar, heavily promoted through edgy commercials starring Bart Simpson. Kids loved them, and they quickly became a lunchbox favorite. So, what went wrong? Despite strong branding, the BBs had practical issues. They melted too easily, clumped together in humid weather, and left a sticky residue on fingers. Additionally, some consumers disliked the altered texture, finding them too crunchy or chalky compared to the bar. As sales declined through the 2000s, Nestlé quietly pulled the plug by 2006. Fans continued to petition for their return, but Butterfinger BBs ultimately crumbled
into little crevices in your teeth and stays in there. See? So let me crack it here.
their own flaws, proof that miniaturizing success doesn't always yield the same magic. At first glance, PB Max seemed destined for greatness, a chocolate-covered square packed with peanut butter, oats, and cookie crunch. Mars introduced it in 1990 to tap into the booming peanut butter snack market. Despite robust sales and a solid fan base, PB Max was pulled from shelves in the mid-90s for an unexpected reason. Mars executives reportedly disliked peanut butter. Corporate bias, rather than consumer rejection, killed this product. It's a rare case where internal taste preferences overrode market data. Today, PB Max enjoys cult status, with nostalgic fans pleading for its return. The product's downfall wasn't about performance.
Max.
It was about the bizarre reality that even a profitable item can be axed if the boardroom says no. Before Red Bull conquered shelves, there was Josta, PepsiCo's bold experiment in launching the first mass-market energy drink in the U.S., debuting in 1995. Infused with guarana and loaded with caffeine, Josta promised to fuel the edgy, high-octane lifestyle. The packaging was striking, and its flavor, often described as a berry-cola hybrid, was polarizing but memorable.
I find every can of this I can and drink it and record it for posterity until there are none left. Here's his arm. I'm twisting it. He has to do.
Despite being ahead of its time, Josta failed to gain lasting traction. Consumers weren't quite ready for energy drinks in soda form, and poor marketing focus muddled its identity. By 1999, Pepsi had quietly discontinued it. Years later, Josta gained a second life in internet nostalgia, remembered as a trailblazer that fizzled out before the world caught up to its high-energy vision. When it came to fun drinks for kids in the 90s, Squeeze-It stood out, both for its novelty and its bright cartoonish bottle. Released in 1995 by General Mills, the fruity drink came in a plastic bottle you squeezed to release the liquid. It became a playground staple, with flavors like Chucklin' Cherry and Rockin' Red Puncher. Kids loved the interactive design and colorful characters.
Squeeze-It fruit drink. So much fun, kids can't wait to get their hands on it. You don't just drink a Squeeze-It, you squeeze a Squeeze-It.
But parents weren't thrilled with the sugar content and artificial ingredients. As health concerns grew and demand shifted toward more nutritious drinks, Squeeze-It lost steam. It was discontinued by the early 2000s. Though brief in lifespan, Squeeze-It remains a vivid memory of a time when drinks doubled as toys, but couldn't outlast changing tastes. Squeeze-It turned drinking juice into a squeeze fest. Was it enough to hide what was lurking inside chocolate eggs? The original Wonder Ball debuted in 1996 with one magical promise: chocolate with a surprise toy inside. Modeled after Europe's Kinder Surprise, the product featured a hollow milk chocolate shell containing a small figurine or trinket. Kids were enchanted, but parents and safety regulators were not.
Who knows what surprises a Wonder Ball can hide? Yummy Nestle chocolate with
Concerns about choking hazards led to public backlash and mounting legal pressure. Within a year, the product was pulled from U.S. shelves. Nestlé later reintroduced Wonder Ball with candy inside instead of toys, but the original iteration was gone for good. While it tapped into the thrill of the unknown, Wonder Ball's failure serves as a reminder that surprise elements don't mix well with food when safety's on the line. Few snacks screamed 1990s kid quite like Fruit String Thing. Launched by Betty Crocker in 1995, this fruit snack came in long, colorful strands that you could twist, loop, and eat in creative ways. Marketed as fun, playful, and parent-approved, it offered more interactivity than your typical gummy.
Kids used to like Fruit String Thing, but now they're wild about it. That's because we took the string.
But behind the sugary fun was a product loaded with artificial flavors, dyes, and corn syrup. As nutritional awareness among parents grew, Fruit String Thing faced backlash for its unhealthy ingredients. Sales dropped off by the early 2000s, and it quietly disappeared. While it won over kids with creativity, its lack of real fruit or health value ensured it couldn't stretch its popularity beyond the junk food era. A product of the early 90s obsession with extreme colors and candy gimmicks, Tongue Splashers gum hit shelves in 1993 with one primary goal: to stain your tongue with wild, unnatural colors. Marketed primarily to kids, the gum came in bright blue, green, and purple varieties, with names like Berry Blast and Electric Lime.
And it would color your mouth and your tongue all different types of colors. Let's get this box out of the way.
While it was a temporary playground hit, parents quickly grew wary of the artificial dyes, and schools began banning the gum due to messy tongues and desks. Additionally, the flavor wore off within minutes, leaving only a soggy, rubbery chew. Though memorable for its novelty, Tongue Splashers couldn't compete with longer-lasting gums or changing attitudes toward hyper-artificial snacks, and it vanished by the late 90s. In an attempt to blend food and surprise, Cheetos Mystery Colors arrived in 1999, baffling snack lovers everywhere. At first glance, these snacks resembled regular Cheetos Puffs, but once eaten, they revealed bright colors that stained your fingers, and sometimes your tongue, odd hues like green or blue. The gimmick? You couldn't tell what color you'd get just by looking. Unfortunately, the artificial dyes were off-putting to many, and the cheese flavor was noticeably weaker than standard Cheetos. Parents were turned off by the mess, and the novelty quickly wore thin. Positioned as a limited edition stunt, the product failed to make a long-term impression. Even fans of odd snacks agreed. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, especially the flavor of these puffs. Capitalizing on the rising interest in coffee-flavored beverages, Pepsi-Cola made its debut in 1996 as a bold fusion of cola and coffee. Marketed as a sophisticated, slightly edgy drink for caffeine lovers, Kona attempted to balance the fizz of Pepsi with the deep roast of Kona coffee.
So what'll it be today, Bob? Coffee? Pepsi?
Surprise me.
However, the flavor profile confused consumers. Was it soda, or was it coffee? It ended up being neither satisfying nor memorable. Test markets in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia gave it a lukewarm reception, and Pepsi ultimately scrapped the drink within a year. The idea was ahead of its time, long before Starbucks bottled Frappuccinos took off. Despite being innovative, Pepsi-Cola failed because it couldn't clearly define its target audience or deliver a taste that stood out. With the dawn of a new decade, 7-Up attempted to expand its brand identity by releasing 7-Up Gold in 1990, a spiced cola that bore little resemblance to its lemon-lime predecessor. Instead of light and refreshing, it was dark, heavily flavored, and oddly similar to ginger ale or a weak root beer. The product confused loyal customers and alienated cola fans who already had Coke and Pepsi.
Not salty. And it's actually cold somehow.
Despite heavy marketing and positioning it as a more mature soft drink, it flopped fast. Critics pointed out the flavor was neither unique nor particularly appealing. 7-Up Gold was discontinued less than a year after launch. Ultimately, the soda failed because it betrayed its identity, proving brand recognition alone can't guarantee success. Attempting to diversify beyond burgers and fries, McDonald's. McPizza was introduced in the early 1990s with much fanfare. The fast food giant hoped to compete with pizza chains by offering a family-friendly pie right from the Golden Arches. The concept included personal-sized pizzas made fresh in special ovens. While the flavor was passable, the execution was a disaster. Pizzas took up to 11 minutes to cook.
Right, my friends, so that looks good, apart from the olive, but let's go in for it.
Completely undermining McDonald's fast service model. Franchisees balked at the extra equipment and slow turnaround, and customers didn't see McDonald's as a pizza destination. Despite a few loyal fans, McPizza was eventually phased out by the late 90s. It remains a symbol of brand overreach, when even a corporate giant can't force a square pizza into a round system.